start your day. Fabulously flawed, we're lighting the way. Monday to Friday, new episodes with laughter and love. Let's start the show. We're shaking things up. Don't let anyone dull your sparkle. Motivation, inspiration, and fun. Fabulously flawed, everyone. So shine a little brighter. Grab your smile and sing along. The show's about to start with Marni, your host. You can't go wrong.
Fabulous friends, welcome to Fabulously Flawed. I am your host, Marni, and it's Tuesday. So we made it through Monday, that miserable Monday, which, I always say, hope it could be a little bit magical. And it's Tuesday, so the week is going, and I love to do my Tuesday's tips. So I just wanted today to talk about, we're talking triggers, which a word that has become so synonymous in my world, my house, I instill upon my family, and just everybody knows now what triggers are. My life probably could have been 99% less roller coaster and volcanic if I had been aware of my triggers and what triggers were. I believe many of us, and I'm still learning what triggers are for me, are walking around with a lot of unhealed, stored, deep down emotions where things lie, but we don't realize it. It's buried in our subconscious when triggers appear sometimes. They could be physical triggers. First of all, triggers are these external events, whether it's people, places, thoughts, situations that give this intense, sudden, for me, negative feeling of like rage or whatever I'm going through, of sudden emotional, like feel through your body of just like physically for me, my heart races or getting very sweaty, dizzy. It's kind of like a panic attack, frozen. I get nauseous. And sometimes it could be an emotional trigger, an overwhelming fear of rage or sadness, or a behavioral trigger where you get loud, you shout, you scream, you shut down, one or the other. And what's important and what has healed me tremendously is identifying, why am I freaking the fuck out right now? What's going on? Recognizing it and understanding it from my past and now what's going on in my present. And in many, many different facets of our lives, people are triggered by so many different things, whether it's work, whether it's in real life situations. Public speaking could be very triggering and a fear of judgment. That's why what I do, it's just, damn, I just totally am on I don't give a fuck island. I shouldn't have said that. Gross. I didn't mean it like that. I mean, just in my own world of I don't give a fuckville. That's what I meant to say. And so what I do now is just tremendous that I am doing it without my fear of judgment. There's also meeting new people, which causes a lot of discomfort and panic, or possibly being the center of attention, which can spark some sort of inner self-consciousness. And I know if somebody asks for help, I used to, feel really weird asking for help, or just kind of rejection, looking at me like, what? And also social gatherings just sometimes drain me. I'm like, okay, I'm out, I'm done. These are just places I can't be sometimes. And people, let's say when I public speaking, if you've had a negative experience once, of course, you're going to have a trigger for that. And if you one day started a new day at school or a job and the people treated you like shit and it was embarrassing, of course, meeting new people is going to be triggering for you. And one day you felt judged and you were vulnerable and you were the center of attention. So putting yourself in that position again is very triggering. And again, all of these things are so brave and badass that you're able to overcome and step in to faith even with fear, you're going with faith. And in social gatherings, there have been places, I know for me, where there was so much rejection and I felt out of place. And that's probably really manifested my social rejection and lack of need to be around certain kind of people. And also with people and past abuse. Certain words or phrases could bring up a trigger. Possibly hearing something like "you're worthless," and that could remind you of when somebody used to be verbally abusive to you. Or I know for me, returning to where my trauma occurred, the neighborhood and home and buildings I lived in, it's very hard for me sometimes to go to certain cities, Aventura especially. Every time I'm there, I don't know how I lived after my trauma and then went back in the middle of trying to heal through my trauma, which you cannot do in a place that you were harmed. You cannot heal trauma where you were harmed. And there are people also that we have trust issues, and it's very normal because you've tried to express your feelings before and people just kind of blew you off and you trusted someone. And so now I don't blame you for being very suspicious of other people. I would be, but we can't let it completely take over our lives, I guess, and consume us with constant negativity. Teenagers, oh my gosh, thank gosh I am over the teenage years with my children. Thank goodness, because the social media, what it has done, the feeling of exclusion and comparison is just horrible. I guess it doesn't matter how old you are, because I've been an adult and have been excluded and saw it on social media, and I allowed it once to destroy me. But if you're bullied online once, or certain things are going to upset you, I think the best thing you could do is try and stay off certain sites, people's websites, people's bios, or people just don't follow people that are going to be triggering. No matter, I guess I shouldn't even say teenagers. It doesn't matter how old you are, because I am a grown woman and I block so many people. I block the people that they know and that they know, because seeing people is so friggin' triggering for me. I have healed so much through my years from situations that happened in my neighborhood, that happened through just being a mom, and people I have met. And some of these people are very vile human beings that have been very, very cruel to me. So seeing anything about them, for me, it's just so I block it. And I know there are people that have past trauma. If there's a loud noise, it can trigger like flashbacks or panic. And don't also let anybody invalidate what you feel, because sometimes if my husband or son comes home and the door's locked and they're knocking real loud, I freak the fuck out and I get in one of those, like my heart starts to race, or I get like shaky, because I remember at 16 the police going bang, bang, bang when they came to arrest my mother for her drug parties and crack cocaine paraphernalia and stuff they were doing. Also, there are smells with past trauma. There are also, like, how many times have you smelled something? I can't think of anything specifically right now other than like a perfume, and it's just, oh God, that reminds me when I was a little girl at her grandma's house, or just something. But if you freak out by that, don't let anybody say what's wrong with you. Just, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me, but I don't like that. So once you learn and you become a little bit familiar with certain traumatic or triggered episodes, you could say, okay, I remember once I was at Publix and walking down the aisles and the song Tiffany, I Think I'm Alone Now came on. And I just noticed, and this is when I first started to pick up on my triggers, because it came out 1987, 88, which was the worst time of my childhood, the most horrific day from the minute 87 started until it ended. I hated it. And that's when that song came out. And it reminded me of a day in January 1988 when I was put on a plane to leave Miami and go to New Orleans in the middle of my 12th grade year, because I had nowhere to live in Miami. Nobody wanted me. I was literally homeless. And I remember getting off the plane and hearing that song. So I fucking hate it. And so when I was food shopping one day with my husband, I remember I got so fucking bitchy when I heard it. And subconsciously, I was like, wait, now I know why I hate that song. So I started to connect all these little dots of my triggers, and they made sense. I know that it's just, so I am always today saying, oh, I can't listen to that. It's a trigger. Oh, turn that song off. It's a trigger. Oh, I can't go there. It's a trigger. And my family, before we understood it, they would be like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? And I'd be like, nothing's wrong with me. Arguments would start, and now it's a trigger. Okay. I mean, it's become a way of life, which it needs to be. And once you are aware of it, you can take accountability for it. But if you're not aware, you can't heal something. And there are times that you feel tense, your shoulders, you need to drop your shoulders, let go of your jaw, you're tightening. We walk around with all of this tension, and sometimes we don't even realize why we're walking around with it. It's buried in our subconscious. So to be aware and mindful of everything, it's really has been life-changing for me. I know when I have an emotional, when something emotional happens, I used to just become overwhelmed with whether it was fear or rage, and now it's I pause. And that pause before most reactions has saved me, because I never had a pause button. I had my reactive abuse. Like, I don't start anything, but if you used to push me, the unhealed 50 plus years of Marni would come out, and it would be the most venomous. The look in my eyes and the words out of my mouth, I became like a monster. So I realized I also hurt a lot of people with those words. It was not me. I was triggered, and I was but I'm not excusing it, but I understand now when I am triggered, I go into this other person that it's this borderline splitting, which I'm not lucid at that moment. So to avoid becoming in those moments, I now pause, and it has been a game changer. So on this Tuesday, I hope you were able to think about some of your triggers, take some of my tips, and really do the best you can in protecting yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, your everything, because you and yourself is the most precious thing on this earth and needs to be protected like friggin' everything, with everything you have. Basically, nobody has a right to be intrusive in your thoughts. Nobody should live rent-free in your head, and you deserve nothing but peace, love, and happiness. And remember, guys, you can find me on YouTube, Fabulously Flawed. You can check me out on TikTok and my amazing TikTok shop, Shop Marni Inspires. And remember, never let anyone burst your bubble. And you can't be in a bad mood. So if you find yourself raging, scream bubble. It'll make you a little less angry. And also, if you're in a bad mood, smile. Even if you don't want to, like right now, if you're not in a great mood, force yourself to smile. Try it. See? You may not be in the best mood, but you smiled for a second. And remember to never, ever, 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 ever let anyone dull your sparkle. Have a terrific Tuesday, and talk to you tomorrow for my Words of Wisdom Wednesday.
Thanks so much for joining us on this episode of Fabulously Flawed. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Once again, we're so glad you're here, and we hope you'll come back Monday through Friday for another serving of empowerment, motivation, and inspiration. We'll catch you next time on Fabulously Flawed.